Okay, so yesterday we were talking about the LTPs. We have talked about. We talked about the security model. We talked about Fiddler, and we talked about top 10 vulnerabilities. Right. So far, any doubt to anyone on these particular topics? Hello.
No, sir.
No doubt.
No. Sir, I have one query. For iRule and LTP. So LTP is a GUI based, correct? GUI based we can configure the policy, and iRule is a script. So both are same, and so whatever we can configure in iRule, that can be configured in LTP or
Not completely, but yes, maximum we can, complete in there.
okay. So for that means for advanced we need to refer iRule only.
But LTP even have a very good fair kind of stuff that you can be completed on with LTP also. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Any other question from anyone? No. Okay. Let me make the lab on and get for today's class. Just 1 minute, please. So this particular PPT is over. Okay. Now let me open some another slide, but before that, let me make the lab on and show you different practicals. Yesterday, if I'm not wrong, I showed you something, right, related to the accesses and related to the SQL injection query. Okay, before that, I wanted to know who is the person who don't have the lab access yet.
Hi. Actually, I've re-registered my lab. So when I logged in, it is not showing me the lab.
So you re-registered with another ID, you mean to say?
No, same ID, same ID. Varun BK1981 @gmail.com.
Okay, Varun, maybe share your screen. Okay, let me
Okay.
check it now and first resolve your stuff. Then we will be proceeding further.
Okay. Just hold on. Let me open it up.
So sir, for me also the lab is not working.
Shashikant, maybe meanwhile he is checking, you can share your screen.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, visible.
So I log in into this.
Hmm. Give me the controls, okay?
Yeah.
Now just you need to right click over here, need to start this, okay? And this whole stuff you can minimize, just scroll down. Where is that? If you go down, can you scroll down? There would be a green button. You need to minimize it. Just minimize that. Not able to see? Okay, wait for a while. Wait for a while. Let me just make it smaller. So Control Shift and maybe smaller. It
Yes,
is
sir.
not. It is not allowing me to do so. It's all right. Not an issue. So can you see this net minion? Double
Yes.
click on double click on this. Okay, what it
Okay.
is talking about? DLL. Okay, maybe you are not logged in through the HTML. I explicitly mentioned that it should be logged in through the HTML only. Okay, so maybe let me go for the HTML console.
Okay.
Remember guys, always open the HTML console. Okay, now if you are clicking over here, can you see you are able to open it? Okay, it is just refreshing or something, let it be. Okay, but you would be able to find out that now you would be able to get the access for this particular machine. Here you go. Okay,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
now if you maximize it, it will be gonna show you on above. And after some time, because it is an F5 used to take some time, so it will take some good time to get booted, maybe 4 to 5 minutes.
Okay. And that what about that console? Windows
everything
machine.
everything everything will now open, don't worry. Okay. So if you say about the Windows machine, just start it. What happened? It is why it is selecting everything. Can you just right click and just start it, window machine?
Yes.
It is selecting everything. Okay, it started, I hope. Yeah. Just double click over here on the window machine.
No.
Double click on the window machine and here you go. Okay.
Okay.
Just press enter and it will get open for you. Okay. Okay, now maybe your issue is resolved. Please open
Yes.
your lab. Varun, please share
Yeah.
your.
Yeah. Just a minute. So I'm sharing my screen.
Hmm.
So let me know if you see it.
I can see. See, you don't
Yeah.
have the access. The access is not
Yeah.
showing on the above, right?
Yeah. That is what I was saying. There is no link to access my labs.
Yes. Reason behind your email ID is different.
No, I
Okay.
re-registered today. Okay, I had only same email address.
I don't
I
know why it went out. So let me check
Yeah.
it right away
Yeah.
and see it if you have the access or not. Okay.
Yeah. If you remember, you had given me the same access last week
I
also.
okay. So Varun, can you just tell me your email ID?
VarunVK1981 @gmail.com.
Just give me a minute. Let me search from here. So it is starting from Varun, right?
Yeah, Varun.
I got your email ID now. User plan. Log out from here and log in again.
Okay.
And this time, please save the password.
Yeah, it's already saved. I've been using this.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I've been using this.
Okay. Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Try to
So
log in now.
my
Okay.
labs are there, or I have to re-access everything.
Just check it. Just check it. Log in with the same stuff. HTML. Yeah, it should be HTML only. Okay. Okay. So you have
Yeah,
everything, right?
yeah, I have. It looks like
Hmm.
19th. Yeah, 19th was the last week. Okay, so I think
Hmm.
I might not have lost it. Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. Maybe you can now stop sharing your screen. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, not an issue. Anybody else has any other, doubt, question with respect to the lab or with respect to something else? No?
Rajesh is Saurabh this side. So once the course get completed, so after that we will be having the access of this lab or
No. You will be having only 45 days of access, which is during the course and 15 days plus. Okay. And you would be having 30 hours for the same. What I would be suggesting to you all, just install this on your local PC. Okay. Because this lab will not consume a much of resources. It is a very, smooth lab, maybe 8 GB RAM or 2 or 4 core of CPU is sufficient. So maybe I would suggest you all to go for the, local PC. Even if you required from our side, then it would be a chargeable kind of stuff. Okay. You need to pay maybe 2 to 3K, whatever the rates are. Okay. So that you need to pay and you can just refill it again. Okay. Is it fine? Saurabh?
yes, okay.
Okay, perfect. Are you guys able to see my screen? Yes, no? My screen is visible to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So on to this slide, we are talking about positive versus negative application security, right? So I hope we have already talked about the positive and negative security model in detail yesterday also and day before yesterday also. So let me proceed up. I don't think so that we need to repeat it. Similar point goes with the this particular slide, which is talking about that we need to achieve on some point where our ASM policy will be built, where our negative and positive security models can be enhanced in one form. Okay, so our main aim is to achieve that kind of particular stuff. Okay, that is also good. Now, if we talk about the infra, how the WAF will be coming into the picture, or where is the WAF that is coming into the picture? Like you have some kind of user over here. This user is accessing through, maybe you can say SD-WAN, maybe MPLS, DMVPN, lease line, or whatever sort of media. This should be terminated somewhere on the router. That is, maybe you can say PE router, edge router, or if it is a VH device, CH device, whatever the edge device is. Okay. And this particular stuff, if we talk about, this is the data center. If we talk about this particular stuff, this is your, maybe you can say underlay network. And if you talk about this particular stuff, it is your user. Now, when users are coming into our DC, somehow the packet will be flowing through the underlay network, reach to our DC on the PE device. Post PE device, there should be some firewall. Either it could be your checkpoint, Polo, or whatever. And then into your DMZ zone where your servers are residing. Before that, your F5 unit is in place. Again, this F5 unit can be in place bit like that, that inbound and outbound interfaces can be different. This particular mode is known as 2 mode, or it might be bit like that post your firewalls, this is your F5 and there is some switch, and post this switch, these links are going on. So in this case, your F5, logically your traffic is coming to the F5, and from F5 through the firewall, it is going to the DMZ zone again. And such kind of setup is known as 1 mode. Okay, so that is out of scope topic which I am discussing, but just for your knowledge, I am providing you the brief area, like how it is, placed in your environment. If someone is asking in the interview, maybe you can, clear that question to them. Any doubt in this? Yes, no?
No.
Okay. So let me delete this and talk about further thing. Okay, that is what we are maybe, trying to speak over here, that this your WAF is protecting your HTTP and HTTPS kind of traffic. Now, from today, we are running for the WAF. Okay, so WAF is started now. When I am saying WAF, it means I am talking about ASM, the firewall, sorry, the application security module for your F5. Okay. Now, if you talk about ASM, okay, application security manager, what is this? This secure the web application. This part everyone should be aware now, and that is the reason we need to have HTTP profile. Okay, I hope this part is clear to everyone. Then ASM, when we place in the picture, it help us to mitigate some kind of known issues, including your OWASP top 10. Okay, can you give me some names for the OWASP top 10, please? Any name?
This cross-site scripting, broken access control,
CSS or
XML,
XSS? Broken access control, yeah.
Sensitive data exposure.
Yep.
SQL injection.
Yep. Anyone else?
XML. Don't know something related to XML.
Okay.
XML.
It's all right. What next?
Cross-site scripting.
Sorry.
Cross-site scripting accesses.
I hope we talked about that.
CSRF.
CSRF. More.
Injection.
Injection we talked about.
Broken access control.
Broken access control we talked about. Security weakness, logging and monitoring. So these all of the stuff, if you are remembering, are the OWASP top 10. So by default, when we are talking about, ASM, these kind of stuff is already taken care. Okay. And apart from that, it is compliance with your some kind of regulatory mandates known as HIPAA. So HIPAA means your health insurance portability and accountability act. Okay. And the second is PCI DSS, mainly the credit card industry, you can say. And if you talk about it, stands for payment card industry and data security standards. Okay. So what these particular, compliance are saying that whenever they are storing some kind of information, these information should be secured. Okay. And yesterday we talked about something that end to end our website should be following TLS. What was that? I showed you in the HTTP profile that this setting need to be tweaked. There is a particular term for that. Remember?
HSTS.
Yes. So when we are doing HSTS, it means end-to-end encrypted. When we are using data guard, what is the data guard? We will be coming in, okay, on that topic in some time. It means we are securing from PCI DSS. Again, data guard should not be enabled on all of the applications. Why or why not, we will be talking, okay, when that particular slide will come. So that thing you will not be getting over the maybe internet or over some kind of other study material, but that is the practical thing which I would be sharing with you, like what kind of problems can be there if you are applying data guard. Okay, we will be talking about that later on. But first, let us talk about the core or the heart of ASM, that is known as security policy. Okay. So when we are talking about security policy, even though I showed you in very brief or in very overview that we can apply a security policy, this is the policy which will be getting secured your environment. Okay, let me just use it completely. Now, we are aware that we need to create a security policy. And when we need to create a security policy, we need to go into the security tab. Okay, let me show you. I hope my lab is up. Let me quickly check. Window machine. Give me a minute, guys. Okay, I'm checking on this. Let me drag here. Oh, what was that IP? 10.10.10.51. Okay. Admin, admin. I hope the okay. It is pending for today. Huh? Perfect. So when we were learning about LTM, maybe the people who has gone through the LTM, we are aware that in LTM, in case of LTM, we maximum touch this particular body, okay, this tab, and rarely this tab also, okay. And somewhat if we need to go for the HA, we touch this part too. But in case of security or ASM kind of setup, where you need to tweak the security policy and maybe do lot of stuff, you need to go into the security module. Is it clear? So when you need to create a security policy, you need to go into the security over here. And the very first tab, if you see, if you click over here, you would be able to see that one policy is there, even that policy I created previously. I can delete it, but it will not allow me because it should be associated with the virtual server. But let's see if it is taking or no. Okay, it deleted. Good. So there are no policies currently. We need to deploy a policy. We will be deploying a policy today. Do not worry. Combinedly. Okay. Now let me go ahead and talk about that. Okay. What we were talking about, the security policy. So security policy is the core kind of thing, okay, which you need to get created. Now, when you are creating a security policy, it secures your web application, but obvious, okay, from the malicious traffic, and it use both positive and negative security features. So if you talk about the positive and negative security features, what is the first thing which comes in the play when we apply a security policy? Anyone? So by default, only a tag signature is there. Okay. We talked about the tag signature, but again, there is a complete class for the tag signature. We will be talking about later on. But a tag signature is the one which will come into the place very first time when we are applying the security policy. And post that, we can do a lot of fine tuning, okay, as and when required into our environment. Okay. So positive security features indicate which traffic has a known degree of trust, such as your file types, like either it is a PHP file, JPG file, PNG file. What are the URLs which are allowed? What are the parameters that are allowed? Again, we will be checking out on these, all of the things later on, okay, in our lab section. When we talked about the negative security feature model, you are aware that in negative security model, we are only having the attack signatures, which is mitigating any kind of issues. So when you are applying positive, the security policy, it can be, provide you the DOS attack protection, but yes, but obvious, by default, DOS would not be enabled. You need to get enable the DOS profile explicitly. Same is the case with the brute force attack. Same is the case for the web scraping. Cross-site request forgery is maybe, by default it happens because your ASM will use some kind of cookies. Okay, we will be talking about those cookies. Those are special cookies. Okay. And then multiple of the attacks from an IP address. So what you can do is you can whitelist that which IP should be allowed and which IP should be disallowed. Along with it, you can whitelist the country also. Maybe if you don't want to get any traffic from Pakistan, Taliban, or maybe whatever, okay, you can just block those countries that no, we don't require any kind of hit on our application from outside. So that is your security policy brief overview. Okay. Now, when we talk about the security policy can be of two types. Okay. So let me show you again my lab, that this is your security policy. You can create the security policy. And when you hit to create the security policy, there are two types, security and parent. Let us talk about them. So your security policy can be a standalone security, maybe you can say, and that is the security that you are creating from the scratch. Parent security policy can be bit like that, like in case of profiles also, if you are aware. Okay. So there are some by default profiles, right? There are some default profiles when we were learning about the LTM. And when you creating a new profile, you take the default profile as the parent and make changes into the child profile. Remember? Any doubt to anyone? So much silence, huh? Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You are right.
Okay. So similarly, we can have security policy which can be treated as the parent policy, and you can create a parent policy maybe with different standards, bit like that. You have couple of the applications which are using same kind of web portal, or maybe same kind of database, maybe same kind of language, okay, and a lot of things. So what we do is, instead of putting those information again and again, I would be creating a parent policy, and on the basis of this parent policy I can create n number of child policy, and these child policy will inherit all of the properties of your parent policy. Okay, bit like the same configuration items as we talked about profiles and maybe other stuff. Okay, so there are two types which we are talking about: a parent policy which defines your into your policy section that what are the settings or what are the baseline protection for your environment, and when you are creating some kind of child policy, they will be inheriting all of those properties from the parent policy. So you need to you need to identify what are the elements, what are the settings that can be modified in the child policy, and later on you can maybe just amend those things. It's not mandatory that whatever mentioned into the parent policy you need to use same thing in the child policy. No, even if you have something into the parent policy and you don't want to get opt for the child policy, you can modify those elements in the settings of your child policy also. Okay, so you can use this if your environment is designed so that you need to create a policy in a very quick manner, and couple of the baselines is already defined, then you can create a master template or something like that. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead then. So this is an important topic, guys, and from here your ASM is started. Okay, okay, I'm sorry. So we were talking about security policy types. Okay, yeah, what I was saying is this is an important topic, okay, regarding the security policy type. And if you see over the screen, we are mentioning about a couple of the policy types. So these are like your fundamental type. In case of your fundamental type, it means, okay, first let us talk about maybe something else. So here, if you see, we are talking about automatic security policy. So there are two terms, automatic and manual. We will be coming to the template later on. Okay. Automatic security policies are those security policies which maybe later on will make all of the parameters, file types, legitimate URL, illegitimate URL. It will be keep on fine tuning the policy by its own. Okay. Need not to be have any manual intervention. Whereas in case of manual security policy, you as an ASM administrator need to jump and see what is the traffic like learning suggestions, okay, and you need to modify that traffic as per the traffic learning pattern. Okay, what are those? Maybe we will be talking about in our labs also, do not worry. So for the time being, is it clear that there are two major way? Those are automatic and manual. Any doubt? No?
No, sir.
No.
So when we talked about the automatic, we can see there are two, you can say, sub terms that are including into your automatic policy. One is the fundamental, as the name suggests, fundamental template provide you the enhanced security during the policy building process, blocks the violation for sure, but it is recommended for the intermediate users, maybe the person who don't have a very good knowledge about the WAF and they want to implement their policy and do not want to maybe do the more tightening. It is maybe you can say in the moderator way. Okay, so you can apply the fundamental policy template. This template will automatically check and it will be, you know, taking care of your learning suggestions, and on the basis of that it will be fine tuning your policy. Whereas if we talk about the comprehensive, this template is intended to provide maximum security with all of the violations, and learning would be done very aggressively. Okay, so this template is, you can say, is recommended for the expert users who have the knowledge about it. And yes, it is providing you the highest level of the protection from your 0-day mitigation. But again, when I am talking about the security protection, this term has two like you can say two roles. Okay, one is that it is securing your application, second is it is blocking your application. Let us say your team is, you know, this is a legitimate query for your team, one or something what we have injected for yesterday. Okay, and this is a legitimate query, and if you put the comprehensive mode, it will get block automatically your application users will make the noise, and there would be more and more tickets which would be gonna come into your queue. So maximum, what happened? Maximum people used to go for the manual deployment. Okay, and when we are talking about the manual, it means we are using rapid policy. Okay, so rapid development template means you are using a basic security policy which you can, you know, review by your own, and you can fine tune by your own as and when the traffic is coming and you are able to recognize with the traffic. So before going ahead, let me talk about two modes of the policy also. So the policy can be into the transparent mode and can be into the block mode. Okay, so rapid development would be there, policy would be in that transparent mode, and we will be learning about the traffic. Our application traffic is only getting analyzed by ASM, it is not stopped anywhere, and post the learning is completed, we can put the policy into the blocking mode. It means that okay, now the guard is active. If there is something which is not matching with my pattern, I will be gonna block that. So that is particularly, maybe you can say, rapid development will come into the picture when you are looking for the manual intervention, and usually people go for that. So again, if I talked about, it is the baseline of your negative security model, that if admin does not know about the application nature, and even application team is also not gonna help more on this, then we used to put the security policy into the rapid development mode, and we used to analyze the traffic gradually over a period of time, and post, making some kind of decisions, we can put the policy into the blocking mode until or unless it is only checking the maybe HTTP compliance, or if there are illegal methods or the response codes, illegal response codes, or the attack signatures only. Okay, apart from that, everything would be allowed. Then the third thing which is mentioned over here is talking about the API security. Okay, so these are some kind of templates readily to used, okay, which is benefited for your API calls. And I hope you guys are aware about APIs, because currently maximum applications are using APIs. Okay, even F5 is also supporting the API, and that is the REST API, but of course, okay, that is termed with the name of iControl. Okay, I hope you guys have already discussed about it in our previous section, right? Let me show you about the API stuff, if I can. What was that? Let me find it out. LTM virtual server API. So can you see this iControl? So they are talking about the iControl. Okay, the different APIs for different vendors. For this vendor, it is known as iControl. So you can see that how we need to use it. We need to use bit like that. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to copy this. I'm going over here. I need to write down MGMT. It was TM. What was that? MGMT TM. Then LTM. Then virtual. And if I will hit enter, you can see it is asking for the username and password. Let me put the username and password. And can you see this is your JSON language? Okay, guys, is it visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is your JSON language and a form of API call which I am sharing with you. So JSON language usually started with curly braces, bit like your dictionary if you talk about the Python, which are having two values, keys and value, separated by the colon. And if another value need to be there, key 1, value 1, and so on. So kind is the key, this is all your value, then again this is your key, this is your value, and it is talking about that way. Okay, so it is giving the data. So a lot of APIs are there in the environment which people use to call when it comes to the application side. Okay, perfect. Then what we were talking about, the templates. Okay, now there are some you can say default templates also. Okay, so these default templates may be based on your Outlook or couple of applications. So if you go over here, can you see rapid development, and you can see it is for OVA Exchange, it is for Lotus, and lot of templates are there. But you need not to worry about that, because mainly we will be playing with these three. Okay, these two and the three, these are the only important one. Rest are the by default templates which can be used at any time. Okay, so far any doubt to anyone? No? Perfect. Let me ask the question. What is the difference between automatic security policy and the manual security policy?
Automatic security policy will, the ASM will automatically try to create a policy for you. It will listen to the traffics that are allowing in a comprehensive way, I mean in certain time, You can tweak that policy whenever you want, depending upon your requirement. Manual security policy is like if you want, it's a kind of rapid deployment. You know what all applications are there and what all services you want to block. You can go ahead and block them. You can rapidly develop a manual security policy. Automatic security policy is it will take time. It will first listen, then again you have to go back and tweak that policy to suit yourself.
Yes, thank you, Varun. So automatic means when you want your ASM to build the policy by its own, or maybe you can say fine tune the policy by its own. In any case, you need to create the policy, but obvious, you need to apply it on the virtual server also. But there are so much learning patterns. You would be able to recognize what I am saying in the next few classes when we will be doing a lot of practicals. Don't worry. Okay, but for now just understand the terms. Okay, because when I would be doing the practicals, you should be aware that what we are doing. And in case of manual, when team has experience in the ASM and you have a number of large files or URLs, or not a large number of files, URLs or file types, bit kind of setup, then you can go for the rapid development also if your application team is ready to work with you. Okay, but before applying any kind of security, you should be having some question in the mind, like, okay, how strict I need to create a policy. On the base of that, you need to be decided either it should be fundamental, either it should be comprehensive. Then how many applications we need to support for? If there are a lot of applications, we need to go for the automatic only. We don't have any choice. Okay, but if there are handful applications for your organization, then yes, you can go for the rapid deployment. Then what is the traffic that is coming? If traffic is very much, okay, in that case, who joined? Someone joined now?
Hi, sir. It's me, Rizwan. I just joined. I was late.
Oh, not an issue. Not an issue.
Sorry.
Okay, it's all right. Perfectly fine. So we were talking about the security policy. Okay, so the questions would be like, okay, how many applications I need to support? Okay, how much the traffic is. So if traffic is very much that is coming, it means our learning database would be good for the ASM algorithm, whatever, using the database. So that would be a good database. So in that case, your automatic security policy should work. But if the traffic is not much, then there is no other option. You need to go for the rapid deployment. You need to talk with your application security team that, buddy, you need to tell us what kind of file types need to be allowed, what kind of meta character, what kind of URL I need to allow. Okay, any doubt to anyone for this particular slide? Because it is very important, damn important. Okay, if no, then I am proceeding further. No doubt.
In automatic security policy, we are putting it on the log modes and getting everything.
No, I didn't able to catch you.
Is it something like in automatic security policy, we are keeping the virtual server in the log mode and getting the logs and then creating policies and rules?
Still your voice is not very clear, but I just get the hint that you are saying that if application security is aligned to the virtual server over a period of time by default, which is 7 days, okay, it will convert from the transparent mode. Okay, transparent means just listening, to the block mode, and whatever on the behalf of traffic, it will from the staging, it will enforce your URLs, it will enforce your parameters, file types, and a lot of other configuration objects or entities which we will be talking about later on. Is there any other question, Himanshu?
So it will automatically do it, or we need to create some expression?
No, it will do automatically.
So
that
so
is the
this one
reason.
is better.
It depends. It depends. What is your environment? Okay. See, because it will be gonna allow these things on the basis of some algorithm, right? Although that algorithm is robust, but false positive can be also there.
Yes.
So in that case, there is, you know, a lot of tickets can also come in your bin. Okay.
Okay, suppose Radha sir, in your company you got a new URL and you need to apply a WAF on that. So what basically you follow general approach in the production?
So
For
either you go for the rapid, either you are going for fundamental or comprehensive. Both of these policies will learn the traffic first thing.
okay.
With the only difference, post some time, this policy will enforce the traffic automatically, but in the rapid, we need to do it. Are you getting my point?
Got it. Got it.
So this is the only difference. So it depends upon you, like how you are following up, but in maximum case, we used to follow rapid. Okay, let me show you a very quick overview about the fundamental enhanced, which is currently, you know, not in used more, but yes, there is fundamental, which is having such kind of features that are enabled. Enhanced have some more features more than that. Comprehensive means a very tight, very tight, like brute force, cookie length, and a lot of, you know, different features that it will be keep on adding by its own. So that is how you can be, you know, apply the security policies. Okay, let us proceed. Now we are talking about the enforcement mode of a policy. Okay, so even though I was talking about the enforcement mode before some time, but let me tell you, there are two modes of the security policies. One is transparent, second is blocking. Transparent means that your F5 ASM is learning all the traffic and is not altering any of the traffic with some exceptions. Okay, I would be talking on that exceptions. Usually people don't know about that. Okay, but I will be gonna tell you. Blocking means it will check your traffic, each and every individual traffic packet. If some packet is containing malicious traffic or illegitimate data, it will gonna block that. Here, it will not block, it will only show the violation. As yesterday, I was showing you that the request was going on, but the violation was created. It was not blocked. Reason being, the policy was in the transparent. Okay, so how many modes are there? Enforcement mode are either your policy can be into the transparent mode or your policy can be into the blocking mode. Transparent mode means your system log violations but does not perform blocking. There are some exceptions again I would be talking about. It pass all the traffic to the application. Then transparent mode is often used when you are deploying a new security policy, because from the very beginning you cannot stop the traffic. Okay, uh, although it may be, you know, like false positive, but you cannot stop the traffic from the very first day. But gradually, when you learn about the traffic, when you allow some of the URLs, file types, and all of those things, you can put your policy from the transparent mode to the blocking mode. And blocking mode means your system now block the request if it is causing some kind of violations. Okay, and the policy enforcement mode in the blocking is, you know, able to learn new learning suggestions, but obvious, and will also trigger the violations. So how to do it? You need to go again to the security Okay, what I was showing you in the FIU-ASM, there you need to go into the application security, then you need to go to the policy building, and there in the learning and blocking suggestion, you can block it or you can put it into the transparent. Let me show you quickly over the device. So let me create a policy with the name of 27th June. Okay, just I am not doing it so much. Here I am just putting it on one of the virtual server and creating it, although there are a lot of things which we need to do, but it's all right. I am just showing you how the creation of the policy need to be done. So this is very basic security policy, and description, it is rapid development policy. What does that mean? Who is talking about? We talked about this before some time. What is that?
That is manual.
So it means that you need to manually, tune your policy as and when required. Okay. So this is your rapid development policy, and you have applied it on the virtual server also. In this scenario, even though you last time we what was that virtual server IP is 10.10.20.43. So let me show you again. I'm just going to my 10.10.20.43. It should be HTTPS. And if I am hitting the SQL injection, before that, let me show you. There is something known as event logs. Event logs means what are the logs which are coming. But before that, let me change the logging profile to, give me a minute, guys. Let me make some setting change. Okay, it is good. And if I will go to the security, if I will check the event logs, there should not be anything. Okay, it is maybe yesterday's request. Let me delete. So there is nothing currently. Okay, I have deleted everything. If I will generate this particular attack, that is SQL attack, it happens. It is not stopped, even though my security policy is attached to the virtual server. What is the reason?
Transparent mode.
Yes, the security policy is in the transparent mode. If I will refresh it, you will be able to see that there is some kind of violation that is generated by your ASM, and it is saying it clearly that, buddy, you have SQL injection attack signature that is triggered, but even then it is not violated, or even then it is not stopped, and the reason is your policy is in the transparent mode. Is it fine, guys? So that is the difference between your modes. Yes, any questions?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, perfect. Let us go ahead then. Let us talk about the application language. Okay, now when you are creating your security policies, you need to provide some of the more granular information to your ASM box, so that it can properly assign the correct attack signature set to that particular application, and it can check on the basis of those particular settings only. Okay, so if we talk about over here, so big IP ASM application, let me just clear this. It is saying that what is the default character encoding. Okay, maybe for China there are some another default character set, maybe for Urdu and some other language, Russian language, maybe some another. But generally for our language, it would be UTF -8. Okay, let me show you. Maybe you guys, I don't know if you have ever focused on this or no. let me show you this. I am saying ABC or whatever. Oh, leave it. I need not to save even. Can you see here? So this is what this, sorry. Any questions?
No.
Okay. So you can see even this particular language is using the character set of UTF-8. And yes, if there is some special applications or special servers which are not using this, you can change that kind of stuff. Even this, the same thing you can use through the curl command also. Okay, let me show you. Curl HTTPS .NET. So just for my website, I am checking it. What is the application language set there? Maybe if I can find it out. Here you go. Can you see what is the character set? It is UTF-8. So you need to provide these settings. Okay, so default character settings, as I told you, is the UTF-8, and it determines like how your security policy and what kind of character set it poses with. Okay, and that kind of particular encoding method is the way like how your F5 ASM will learn about that topic. Okay, and there are several methods as I talked about. You can go through the maybe developer tool, okay, maybe through the curl command, maybe through different commands, or maybe you can ask from the application owners like what is the application signatures, sorry, this language that application is using. Okay, and you need to specify it in your policy. So let me see in our policy if we can talk about. So this is our policy. Okay, and if you see our policy, are you able to see this? By default, what kind of application language it is using? The character set, what it is
UTF-8.
UTF-8. Okay, so I hope this makes sense, right? Okay. Okay, I hope everyone is back. Okay, Saurav, Kadir, Himanshu, Shashi, Varun.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then let us proceed further. We were talking about the application language. Now, there are something known as server technologies. Okay, let us talk about that too. So these are your server technologies. Now, there are a couple of servers technologies which you need to get applied on your application security. Like what is the OS of your application operating system? Okay, mainly it would be on Linux or maybe Windows or maybe Unix, Linux, you can say. So what is the operating system you need to tell about in the application security policy? Then what is your web server? Okay, maybe generally it can be your Apache, okay, or maybe whatever. Then you need to talk about what is the framework it is using, Ruby, Perl, PHP, what kind of framework there is. And if your application is using database server, what kind of database server it is. So database server can be your MySQL or bit like that. Now, on the basis of these, server technologies, there are the attack signatures which will be gonna applied on your application security, and it will make sure that your application security is robust with respect to these server technologies. Okay, so server technology can be server side, application, framework, programs, web servers, and operating system, as we talked about. Okay, you need to associate these with your application security, and application security will apply attack signatures. Okay, and allow to assign more selective set of attack signature to the policy. And these signatures will help you to mitigate the attacks, or will provide you a great sort of application protection. Any doubt? No? Let me show you then. So when we need to create any of the application security policy, you can see that there are some things which will be gonna come, but since I didn't create in that way, let me delete it and let me create a new. So again, policy name, maybe I am giving 27th of June. These things are same. If you scroll it down, can you see there is nothing, right? You need to go on this advanced mode. Okay, so there are two modes you can see over here. Let me bring out my pen. So there are two modes. Currently it is in the basic. You need to select for the advanced. So let me go to the advanced and show you. If you go to the advanced, some more things will appear in front of you, like what is the learning mode, because it is rapid, so by default it would be manual. Now what is the enforcement mode? It is transparent by default. Application language we already talked about. Server technology, let us say we need to select the OS, so I would be saying Linux, and it is saying that okay, Linux and Unix is applied. Okay, so Linux is applied. What else? Maybe I am saying that okay, Apache is the server, so whatever, maybe you can select this, or maybe Apache first one also. Okay, now what is the language or the framework? PHP. I need to select for PHP. Okay, what is the database? It was SQL, so MySQL I am selecting. And can you see these particular things are now attached to your application security, and we would be talking about these things later on, but let me create this policy. So this is the policy which is having couple of the attack signatures or sorry, server technologies which we assigned. Now let me create one more policy. Okay, let it get finished, then we will be creating one more. Okay, this is now completed. Let me create one more. Again, I am giving the name 27 without server technology. Okay, and since I need not to do multiple of the changes, I am just creating it. And this particular security policy is not having any kind of attacks, sorry, the server technologies associated with it. Now, if I go to my application security, there are a couple of the terms over there, but we will be gonna cover gradually in our classes. So let us go over here and see how many attack signatures are there. 25, 40.
542.
If I will go and select my another policy, which is the new policy, are you able to see the difference? So this particular policy is having the server technologies, and that is the reason the baseline attack signatures are already there. Okay, so let me tell in that way. The baseline attack signatures already there. In the addition of that, whatever server technologies you are using, those attack signatures are also added. Make sense? Anyone has any doubt? This is very important, guys, with respect to your interview, troubleshooting, all of that, maybe production. It is very important.
So in transparent mode, there are more signatures.
No, both are in the transparent.
And if you select blocking mode, then what is the result?
Wait for a while. Wait for a while. You guys are going in the wrong direction. So let me talk about again about this stuff. We were talking about server technologies. Okay. I create policy 1 and policy 2. In policy 1, I didn't add any specific server technology, and we are having some 24xx attack signature, which is the baseline attack signature, which should be applied on each and every policy by default. In the second policy, we applied OS, framework, or maybe database and all of that information. Now, your baseline, which was 24xx, it was there. In addition to that, whatever the attack signature matches with these server technologies, which is again approx 1K, will get added on, and it is showing you 35xx. It means that when you are adding server technologies, ASM on the base of those particular terms like Linux or Unix attacks, it is adding some of more attack signatures to that policy. It does not matter either it is into the transparent or into the block. Now ask the questions.
So you mean to say that as what all features, what all more information that we can add about that application that we are trying to protect, the attack signature can increase depending upon the availability of those signatures in the F5.
That's true.
So, sir, in case there is a device like firewall, checkpoint, Palo Alto, or anything on which VPN is configured. So, in that case, what OS will we will select here?
So, if you are talking about firewall, that is a mode of connectivity only. We are not talking about the mode of connectivity. We are talking about the end server or the application. So the application which you are managing over here, that application need to be write down on something. Either it should be on Windows, Linux, something, right? So we are applying those security policies over here for server technologies. Okay.
Okay. So VPN server is there. VPN server is there, and so in that case, we need to select Linux or
Maximum it should be on the Linux only. Okay. So you need to apply Linux.
okay.
And these information, by the way, will be always these information will be coming to you from the application team only.
Okay.
Because you are not application owner, you are not aware like on which basis they are creating the application, right?
Okay.
So this information always come from the application team.
So, for example, if you take this example, like if I'm having a antivirus, so every day my antivirus syncs up, gets the latest update. So how is that happening here? Does we have to manually, download all these signatures, or will it automatically get updated from F5?
Regarding the upgrade process, as you are aware about the LTM device, you need to upgrade the codes. Similarly, you need to upgrade the attack signatures. Okay.
So here, how we can configure child policy? If suppose it is the parent policy, how to apply child policy for different server?
Nothing. You just say that it is a child policy. You go into the application security, create a new policy, and there, instead of selecting any kind of security policy, first create a parent policy. Your parent policy will get created. Post that, it will ask that you wanted to have the child policy for the same. You can select for the child policy. I would be showing you. Okay, I will show you an example. Don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Okay, apart from that, any question for this particular signature set? Very important question, very important. Okay, you need to be very much cautious for this. Any question, or should I rub it?
Yeah, it's clear now.
Okay. Where is that? Okay, so we were talking about the server technologies. Now let's talk about the enforcement readiness period. So So what is the enforcement readiness period? It means it is a trial period. For that particular period, your FI is not intervening in between and your traffic is flowing through it. And post that, if it is an automatic policy, it will get into the blocked automatically. Or if you are running with maybe rapid deployment, which is manual, then you need to put it into the block. Okay. So if you talk about the enforcement period, we already said that it is a trial period to allow your FI ASM to process the traffic for analyzing that what are the false positive, what are the actual threats, and attack signature will be in the staging during this. Now we will be coming to the staging and enforcement mode later on for the attack signature, but for now just stick with the enforcement readiness period. It is again very important, okay. So administration, as an administrator, you need to review like what kind of flow you have, and by default it would be 7 days. So you can say that this is your FI ASM, lot of traffic coming to it. For 7 days, you are saying, okay, learn every traffic. On the basis of this traffic, it will learn something, giving you the suggestions. On the basis of those suggestions, you can tight your policy. So that is the whole funda, if I will talk about in one line. Okay. By default, it is 7 days. Now let me show you quickly. Where is that? If you go to the application security, okay, there is a section known as policy building, although we will be talking about it later on in a very great manner, but let me show you. Can you see this traffic learning? So this traffic learning field is talking about that, okay, what kind of traffic is coming? Maybe there is no learning currently. Okay, what about that? Okay, maybe if, let me, hit some kind of stuff, log out, maybe some contact, control panel, cell and item, just initiating some traffic. Okay, and let me refresh it. Which policy is there? Maybe this policy. So it is not learning because traffic is damn slow. Okay, it's not much. Do we have this application security attached to the virtual servers? It is. Okay, so I would be showing you later on. Okay, don't worry, I will show you the way how to make it into the learning mode. Okay, but for now you can see that there is no traffic, but based on the traffic it will gonna learn and show you here the what is the learning progress. Can you see this graph, the right hand side? It is showing you what is the enforcement readiness summary. Okay, very important with respect to your interview, with respect to your troubleshooting, with respect to your production. Okay, so you need to be very much aware that, okay, in case of your learning pattern, traffic and learning, okay, you need to be aware that, okay, how your packets are coming and what you are doing with those kind of traffic learning. Okay, so we were talking about the enforcement period, that is by default 7 days. Let me show you that also. Go to the application security, any of the security hit there, and if you just scroll it down, not showing. Let me create one new, and let me go to the advanced, and can you see this? By default, this is 7 days.
So in short, for 7 days, this policy will learn the traffic behavior and then it will automatically apply, right?
Depends. If your policy is automatic, then yes. If it is not, then no.
Then it's okay, and it can also contain some false positive, or
But obvious, it can. Okay. So that is the reason why you need to go for the manual stuff. Okay. No questions. Let us proceed. So that would be your enforcement readiness period, which is by default 7 days. Now we talked about the logging profile yesterday. Can anybody let me know what are the logging profile? We talked about it, right? When I was clearing about the OAuth top 10.
Yes, sir. That log is getting generated or not, or it is getting saved.
Right. So as I was showing you before some time in the event logs, that these using these profiles, you can tell to your ASM box that what particular virtual server has which kind of profile, and on the basis of that profile, your logs would be shown on your ASM box. If there is no logging profile over there, no logs can be produced. If there is a logging profile which is only using illegal maybe method, okay, so only illegal logs will be shown to you. But if you are using that, okay, I want to have the legal and the illegal both, then it will be gonna show you illegal and legal both. Okay. So what we are talking here is it determined where events are logged. Okay, you can log local to the system and to some of the syslog server also. Same thing we are talking about locally or remotely, we can have it, and it includes two logging profiles. One is log all request, it means legal and illegal, and another is only to illegal requests. So if you don't want to go for the legal and illegal, then you will be going for illegal only. And FI recommends that you need to be use some kind of remote login server, but obvious because you have that device capacity problem. If you will fill out your device with these kind of logs, it is very hard to like maintain the disk maintenance. Okay, there would be the issues. So as an administrator, you should be very much aware that your logging profile should be working perfectly. And yesterday I talked about something more when I was clearing about the logging profile, and that was talking about the request and response. What was that?
get request and post response.
No,
HTTP method.
Okay.
those were the HTTP method, but I am just talking about the event logs.
Okay.
We talked about it yesterday, right? So it means when we are coming to the logging profile, this will only log the requests, not the response. Okay, either you are using this log all request or the illegal request, it is not logging response explicitly. You are mentioning it onto your device. Okay, let me show you. So I am going to the local traffic manager to your virtual server. On this virtual server, under the security field, there would be logging profile. Okay, by default it would be bit like that. By default it would be bit like that. You need to go over here, enable it. After enable, it will ask that okay, what you need to go for. If you are going for log all request, it means all requests it will log. If you are going only for illegal, it will be gonna for illegal. If I'm saying that okay, update. Now if any of the traffic is coming to this application, let me generate some of the traffic. And if you want to check, you know, the event logs of this particular application, let me remove illegal filter. So you can see, let me make it bigger. You can see it is only logging the request, not the response. Response is not there. Okay. So response logging always disabled. It is only request login which you will be able to see that, okay, what kind of things we are doing over here. Any doubt?
So for troubleshooting purpose, can we enable it for timing?
You can, but even it's not required. Generally, it's not required.
Like
Okay.
response is coming or not in that case.
Maybe you can, but it's not required again. Okay. Where was that? Reporting, application protocol, setting, event logs, application protocol. Give me a minute. I forget. Logging profile. FISM. So event logging profile. Why it is not showing over here? Event logs not showing the logging profile, right?
It's at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Version.
Yes.
You are
So
in 13 version.
yeah. So if you see here, under the security, under the event logs, there are logging profile. You can create your own logging profile. Just provide whatever the name you want to provide. If you want to enable some kind of application security, click on this. And here maybe you can, you know, when you click on these all bodies, you can just enable the like response also. Is it fine? Shashi? Clear?
Yes.
So you can create this like if I'm creating this, okay. So DOS, maybe I need to remove the DOS and the bot because I didn't configure that. And you can see, you can go for the local storage and for the maybe, you know, remote storage also. So you can provide a lot of information over here that either you want to go for the local, for the remote, if for the remote, what kind of the IP is, what is the server name is, and lot of information you can. Now here also you can go to the advanced, and in the advanced it is saying that, okay, for the illegal request, or maybe what kind of things you want to go for, okay, protocol, response status code, HTTP method, and lot of things you can modify over there. And once you create this particular profile, this profile will be showing you over the, okay, let me go for the local because it is asking for the IP address. Let me see, network firewall, network firewall is not there currently. Let me remove that. Okay. So once this is, you know, created, it will be gonna show over here, and it will be gonna show into your local traffic virtual server. Into your virtual server, under the security field, you can see that that this new logging profile is there. Okay.
Yes, I've got it. Even individually we can configure the policy.
Right. You can create. Okay. So if it is done, we were talking about logging profile. So I hope logging profile is clear to everyone, right? Let's talk about a very generic overview because we need to, today I am starting with the ASM. So it will be having a very generic overview for all of these things. But from the next weekend, please, all of you revise everything which you have learned so far. Okay. Otherwise, you would not be able to catch up the different stuff. Okay. So I would request you all go through the lab, do whatever we have done. Okay. Revise it twice, thrice, how much times you want to go for, but please revise it. So attack signatures, we already talking about the attack signature, that attack signatures are particular some kind of rules or the patterns which identify your attacks on the basis of those rules or on the basis of those patterns. Okay, and it analyze either the traffic is legitimate or no. Okay, so generic attack signature, as I shown you before some time, 24xx 2000 or something was applied on a policy, but when you are providing the server technologies and all of the setup, then more attack signature will gonna add with that generic list. Okay, any doubt so far in this particular thing? If no, yeah.
No doubt.
So, sir, is there any chance that the signatures are generating false positive attack?
See, we cannot say that signatures are generating false positive, but we can say like that if our application is using something, the PHP script, okay, this is a very common maybe that the application users are using PHP script, and since they are using PHP script, but obvious the bit like your ACL, it will pop up like an attack. Okay, and it will show you the PHP injection attack or some other attacks. In that scenario, you as a network admin need to unblock that or allow that, or need to disable that particular attack signature.
Okay.
Right?
Got it. Yes.
So it depends upon application to application, scenario to scenario, how you are gonna go. Okay, now I was talking about two terms before some time, that when we are talking about attack signatures, these can be under the staging. Okay, the last word if you see over this slide is staging. So this can be under the staging and under the enforce mode. So staging means that your system apply the attack signature to the web application traffic, but does not apply the blocking of policy action of your request. Okay, so let me tell in that way that I talked about that your policy, or let me open, maybe give me a minute. So we talked about that security policy can be under transparent mode and blocking mode, and by default enforcement period is how much?
7 days.
Correct. 7 days. Post 7 days, let us say you enforce your security policy to the blocking mode. Okay, but your attack signatures are in the staged mode. Okay, even then your request will not get blocked. You need to explicit make them into the enforcement mode, that okay, you are not staged now, you go and block the traffic. So there are a lot of terms we will be going to learn later on, that how it will be working, but policy, transparent and blocking is separate things. Attack signatures, staging and enforcement is different thing. Let me show you. If I will go to the security, application security, attack signatures. Okay, and now are you able to see where is my pen, this particular stuff? This is saying this, that your attack signature is under the staging mode. Even though, let me go for my application security, let me go to this application security, and maybe the version 13. need to be done from here. So any security, I'm putting it into the blocking mode. Okay, you can see it is in the blocking mode, saving it and applying it. Okay, so this is without tech kind of setup. Now if I will go to the attack signatures and the same policy I am showing you, can you see these are under the staging only? So you as a network admin need to make it enforce. Maybe if you want to go for one-on-one, you just can do it for one-on-one. Like I don't want to perform staging, update it and apply policy. Okay, and can you see the second one? Is there any change? Are you able to see this? Compare
Yes.
first and second.
Yes.
So got the point?
Yes.
So that is how your attack signature.
So what is recommended? We should make all the attack signature into an enable mode, enforcement mode, or what
Yes.
is the recommendation?
We need to. Ultimately, this is the goal, right? Ultimately, we need to move from the negative security model to the positive security model. That is what we are learning, right? Okay, perfect. Now, if I will talk in a very broader way, what you are doing when you are creating a security policy, you need to talk about what is the learning mode. Okay. Then you are talking about what is the enforcement mode. What is the learning mode, guys, for the security policy?
Transparent or manual?
Oh, no.
Block.
So transparent and block is here. Okay. Enforcement mode. But what is the learning mode?
Staging.
Staging.
No. Either it is automatic or manual.
Yep.
Okay. Then enforcement mode means either it is transparent or block. Then what is by default application language?
UTF-8.
UTF-8.
Right. So you need to go for this, you need to decide for this, you need to decide for this. Post, you need to decide for this. An example,
Windows, Linux.
like
Apache
what is
server.
your
Apache.
OS, what is your framework, what is your language, right? So bit like that, like PHP, MySQL, or Linux, Unix, bit like that. What is that?
7 days.
For how many days you want to read?
Staging.
So by default it is
7 days.
and post this, your first security policy will apply. Any doubt to anyone in this particular slide? Again, important one. Okay. So
Again, when you showed this, say we have gone in for manual, okay, and still it is staging, okay, and in that staging period, we observed the logs and we found that there are some anomalies that needs to be blocked. So at any given point of time, we have that control and we can put it in action, right, rather than waiting for 7 days.
you can. Okay, you can, but for that you should have a proper knowledge of your application. At the very first time also you can put it into the blocking mode, but these are the general terms. Yeah, Shashi, go ahead.
So even after a 7 day staging period, we need to change the state of policy attack. Like block
Ideally we should, but if traffic is not much, you need to wait for some more time.
So is there any default action is set, like in IPS, the default action is there, block or a log?
As I told you, if it is automatic, Okay. After 7 days, it will enforce automatically.
Okay. Enforce means what? Means it will alert or it will block?
It will block.
It will.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So you need to select for, you need to go for the policy name. You need to select for what is the policy type. You need to select for what is the template, and you need to apply that policy to the virtual server. And then you need to set the logging profile. That is what we have done in today's class. Anyone has any doubt so far? No? Perfect. Let's go ahead then. So this is our, you can say, flow, that first the request will be gonna go on the virtual server, and on that virtual server, if HTTP profile exists or no. If that profile exists, it will check for the LTP, and if LTP is directing that traffic to the WAF, then it will be gonna check on lot of parameters or URLs, file types, different items and entities. If everything is okay, it will be gonna go, send the traffic to the backend server. If it is not okay, it will block the traffic at once. Okay, so that is all your stuff. Now let us talk about very common term named as data guard. So data guard, as we were talking about, PCI DSS, like the credit card, industry, that when your credit card number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, okay, it should not be shown as it is even to the customer also. And these numbers should be masked. Okay, it should be masked with asterisk sign or maybe something else. For the usage of that, you can use data guard feature. So the sensitive information, including your credit card, maybe your social security numbers, which is bit like your Aadhaar card in US, okay, it prevents in the response to show these kind of data in the clear way, okay, and it will mask that. So if you wanted to enable it, you just go to the security option, application security, and there you can go for the data guard and it will be gonna show you. But there is a disclaimer for this, and the disclaimer is, if your application, see guys, this is the one what I was talking about, that your data would be get masked, right? And the disclaimer is, if your application is using JavaScript, data guard feature should not be enabled. Reason behind, your JavaScript will be using couple of those kind of patterns which your data guard will enable or mask those data by thinking. So because of that algorithm, it will recognize it as a credit card number or a social security number, and it will disable those or make the asterisk for those JavaScripts, and your application will not work flawlessly. It will show couple of the it will not show any kind of violation. Usually what happened, if there is some attack, okay, a violation ID will happen known as support ID 20-digit number. But even in this case, nobody will able to recognize that what is going to happen until or unless application team is deeply digging in between and checking that it is the changes in the even in the data which is response that is coming in the strict form. Okay, so you should be very much aware about these features, although to configure this feature is very small stuff. If you go to the application security, go to the data guard, okay, just enable it. Okay, if you enable it, by default credit card number, it will mask that. US security number, If you want to go for some custom pattern, maybe you can add that. Again, for the custom pattern is bit like your, regular expressions of your BGP, if you are aware about, okay, using the PRC language, but you can check easily over there, and it will mask the data. Okay, if you save it, if you apply it, then it will be gonna work on your policy. Okay, so that is what how your data guard is enabled. But ideally, you need to be very much aware that if in your environment you are using the JavaScript or no. If your application somehow is using JavaScript, you should not go for the data guard. Any doubt? No? Okay.
Sir, I did not get about JavaScript and data. Why is that so?
Sorry?
I did not get the JavaScript. If the application is using JavaScript, then don't use DataCAD. Why is that so?
Okay. What I was saying is, if your application is using JavaScript, it will be sending some queries, okay, which will be resembling to your credit card or your US security. Okay, and since your algorithm is checking it that okay, this is the 20-digit number, it must be a credit card, because there should be some kind of algorithm, some if and else kind of logic in your ASM box, right? It will mask those queries, and when the response is coming to your application, that your application will not be able to read it properly, and your application functionality would be unusual. That is what I was saying.
Okay, got it.
Okay, anyone else has any question? If no, then let me give you one very good information which you can ask in the interview if you are in the interview panel, and if someone asks from you, maybe you can answer. Okay, so the question for all of you: in transparent mode, security policy block the traffic or no? But obvious, if I am asking this question, answer should be yes. Then why?
I have tried this.
Go ahead.
So ideally, it should not, but yeah, I have seen it blocks
What kind of traffic?
requests. Depend on the setting of the profile.
What kind of special traffic?
Like chunk requests. It's what I have saw there. Chunk requests were not accepted. I don't know.
Any other views?
Signature state we need to define, like after staging.
No. Even signatures are into the staging mode. Okay?
Staging mode.
So you can say signatures are also in the staging mode. So there is some special traffic named as WebSocket. Okay. And now what is WebSocket? If you guys are not aware, this is your homework. You need to check before our next class. So if your application is working on WebSocket, even in the transparent mode, your WAF will block that traffic. First thing, if it is illegitimate. Second thing, sometimes for your response code, or like by default it is, let us say 200, which is allowed, but it is coming with 404 or something, it can block the traffic. Okay, so do not be very much like in the way that my policy is in the transparent mode, so my WAF will not block. It may block some of the traffic, and it is always wise to check your event logs before committing anything that WAF is not creating any issue. Any doubt? Perfect. If there is no doubt, maybe then we are good to wrap up for today.